No cold open this video because we have way too much to get to and not enough time to do it. The Heisman race, Jonathan Taylor and London Humphreys may legitimately have to fight each other for this thing. That is how down to the wire it is coming. We also have conference championship game races that are not decided yet. We don't know all of the participants. I would venture to say we probably have 4 undecided spots. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going conference by conference because it's that time of the season. We're starting with Conference USA and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They are right in the thick of the Conference USA race, and a win against Fresno State would put them in great position to make the conference title game when they play Middle Tennessee State in 2 weeks. Obviously, starting out 14-0 is pretty good. Make that 21-0. Great throw right there by Jack Lane. Fresno State on the offensive side of the ball now. That ball is coming out, and we're going to get a big man touchdown. Don't you love when they go dancing in the end zone? 28-0 Hilltoppers. Now let's go to the fourth quarter. Still the same score, 4th and goal. We're going for it because why not? Let's put some more points on the board, and we just get inside the pylon, pick up a massive win here in week 9. Middle Tennessee State taking on Delaware. This is another really big matchup for the conference race. Whoever wins is in first place in the conference. It is massive. Middle Tennessee State gets out to the 10-point lead. Last year, Middle Tennessee State won this battle in this building. The Blue Hens were trying to right those wrongs. The spin move, fighting off tacklers. That is how you get into the end zone. Now we got 20 seconds left before the half, and the Blue Raiders are going to find the end zone. They also got the ball coming right out of the break. This is the very first play of the second half. Taekwon Yates, who just scored, is going to split the seam, and he is gone. They just won't be able to catch him. 24-7, Blue Raiders up now. Same score as we go later in the third quarter, facing a 2nd and 13. This is the other running back. They've got so many of them. Jeremiah Cobb out of the backfield. He's going to slip a tackle, and he's got plenty of green in front of him. He is going to score, and the Blue Raiders control their own destiny, winning 38-13. That was a massive win for Coach Doug Hudson. Coach Lou Brown and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks looking to get back to that conference title game, but with already 2 conference losses so far this season, they had a little hole to dig themselves out of. Facing a Liberty team, though, that is near the bottom of the conference, they didn't really face much trouble, winning this one handily. 31-0 to maintain in this race. They are within striking distance and have a lot of key head-to-heads. Now going to the Mid-American Conference, Ohio taking on Northern Illinois, and we're going to start this bad boy off with the safety. You don't see that too often, but it gives us an interesting 9-0 score. And Tim Carpenter, who is leading the nation in touchdowns, by the way, he's got a lot of them. I don't know the exact number, but the guy knows how to sling the rock, and he's doing it very well. As a team, Michael Van Buren also has a couple of touchdowns, their backup quarterback. So Ohio has scored, I believe, 62 touchdowns at the end of week number 10 through the air. Yeah, it's kind of an unbelievable stat, but they're now up 23-0, and it's still the first half. And Chase Hendricks is going to score this time. They would win 57-17, just pouring it on like they usually do. UMass and Ball State. Coach Kosminski trying to stave off the Toledo Rockets and make it back to another conference championship game, but they have to continue to win to do so. They're in a great spot after that touchdown, up 24-9. Looking like they're going to cruise to a victory. Brandon Rose rolling out of the pocket. There is a flag down, and he's going to make an errant throw. That one's going to get picked off, and there is not a single soul around him. Rose trying to give chase, but he is not fast enough. The flag was on UMass. So we got ourselves a 24-16 ball game. They're going to go for it on 4th and 6 the next drive, and that one gets picked off. They don't return it for a touchdown this time, but it gives them great field position with just 2 minutes left in this ball game. Cardinals offense trying to repay the favor, and they would. 2-point conversion, no good though, so the onside kick is crucial. UMass, oh, he touches it, and Ball State gets on it. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, this UMass defense is pretty good so far this season. They just need to make a stand. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, they're going to let him score now. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. UMass was up 24-9 just a few minutes ago and now trail 29-24. And that ball's on the ground. It's picked up. And they're going to score Ball State with the most improbable victory you will ever see. And all of a sudden, UMass's future in the MAC title race is looking very bleak. Two of the teams at the bottom of the conference squaring off. We got Coach Rizzy's Bowling Green squad taking on Coach Janus's Buffalo squad. Both of them looking to stave off that firing that we think is coming. And it was the Falcons that got on the board early and often. Oh, what a nasty juke move. Get out of the way. 21-0 now. Bowling Green pouring it on early. But this Buffalo offense would not go away. We've seen some struggles from them, especially last season, but they've kind of figured something out, at least a little bit in the air this season. So they get on the board right there, cutting the lead a little bit. They would get the ball again right before the half, and they would find pay dirt, getting this thing to just 7 points before the break. But Bowling Green got the ball out of halftime, and they would capitalize. Pine getting it. He just chucks it up, and his tight end makes him right. That is a Falcon touchdown, 28-14 now. So 14 points. We can get this thing back to a touchdown. We just got to convert. And they capitalize right there. Buffalo staying in this one as long as they can. 5 minutes left now in the third quarter. And that guy is booty butt naked open. Are you kidding me? That was awful coverage. And this was just the beginning of the unraveling of the Bulls at 57-28. Yeah, it was just 28-21, I know. It just all fell apart like it usually does with Buffalo. We're not really too surprised there. San Diego State taking on Fresno State. The Bulldogs are struggling mighty as of late, and it just didn't get any better. Coach Booth held no prisoners in this one. It was a massacre. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. Fresno State was able to get on the board, but they just could not get stops defensively, and that's kind of been the issue with this team this season. For whatever reason, they started the year off pretty strong defensively, and then at some point, they couldn't stop a nosebleed to save their life. They get the ball right back, San Diego State does, before the half, and they score another touchdown. This thing got to 28, ballooned to almost immediately, and then the first drive out of the second half, you see it right here, they're going to score a touchdown on this. Like, it's just bad angles, poor tackling, bad gap integrity, like whatever it is, it's a laundry list of things. Fresno State would put another score on the board. They had actually put 2 more scores on the board, but as you can see, San Diego State put up 61, so it didn't really matter. I mean, we all know it. Sonnenberger Jr. is probably gone after this season. Where he gets hired next is a great question. I don't think anybody knows that. Nevada turning around their season pretty nicely here in the second half. Got off to a little bit of a rougher start, but they found their groove running the football here in the second half of the season. Playing a good Hawaii team that loves to throw the football. They're up 14-10 now right before the break, and unfortunately for them, they forgot how to tackle. Hawaii taking this one all the way to the crib for a touchdown, taking the lead right back from the Wolfpack. And they added to it their next drive in the red zone, facing a 1st and 10 with just 45 seconds left in the first half. Davis throwing it to his tight end over the middle. That is a score right before the break. But apparently the defense forgot they still had some time left to play in the first half, because Pierce Clarkson went all the way through the gut of the defense right before halftime to cut this thing back to 3. And they would start with the ball coming out of the second half, which is why that was such an important possession. And you cannot press these guys. We see it week after week. They actually held them scoreless in the second half. Great showing by the Wolfpack defense. They win 35-24 and get back to 500 on the season. San Jose State sitting at 5-3 on the year, playing Colorado State, coming off of that heartbreaking UNLV loss that we saw last week. Just need to get back into the win column and cement their spot in the Mountain West title race. This wouldn't be great, though, as they let up a touchdown right there. They do block the extra point. What? No way. Are you kidding me? That takes it from a 2-point game to now a 4-point game. So you need the touchdown in order to take the lead. Unfortunately for them, they would do just that. That was a nasty little juke move, and he burst his way into the end zone. But Colorado State came right back down the field, and he's going to get hit in the back. What in the world was that? That was playing like 4-dimensional Matrix level bullshit right there. I genuinely don't know what that was. And then McCoy is going to force it into a hole. That's a big boy interception. He's not going to return this, is he? Oh my God, he did. And things got really bad in the fourth quarter. 53-28. That is a 2-game losing streak now for a San Jose State team that won 10 games last season. Not a great look for Coach Crowley and the Spartans. Utah State taking on the UNLV team that beat Coach Crowley last week. And that's not how you want to start things off if you're a Utah State. That is a bad interception, and the Rebels are going to capitalize. Quarterback keep on the RPO, and everybody is fooled. Get those boys a map. Shout out Chris Smoove. I could have done it a little bit better, added some reverb. I'm just not quite like the GOAT yet. Keyword is yet. But the Utah State offense would fight their way into the end the next time they touch the football. These guys don't quit. If there's anything about these Aggies, they don't quit under Coach Taylor. And as you can see, they're now leading up 14-7. They're going to add to it right here. That was a beautiful catch and run, taking advantage of the weakness in the defense. And how about a rushing touchdown? We don't see that too often from this team, especially from distance, but they did it this time. Now up 28-7, looking to extend it even more. And this one was pretty nice pass. One of the most dominant wins of the Taylor era, and his job is 1,000% safe. Old Dominion still has a shot at the Sun Belt title. All they have to do is continue to win. Getting up to a 7-0 start against Texas State is going to be a pretty good way to do it. But again, this defense has just been uncharacteristically bad this season. We saw it kind of tail off towards the end of season number 1, but this year it's been just a snowball effect of games where they don't really show up like we would want them to. They take advantage of a mismatch right there to go up 14-7. Now up 20-7, facing this Texas State defense in the red zone. And they're not going to get to stop on 3rd and 11. In fact, the Bobcats score a touchdown, but Old Dominion would come right back. They're going to extend this one to a 2-score game with 40 seconds left in this one. Seal the deal, 23-14. That is a big win to get them back to 500, keep them in this race. We have the Tylenol Bowl is what they're calling it. We got Louisiana and Coastal Carolina squaring off. That is a big run by Cam Whitehair to get this thing to 7, but Coastal Carolina's offense was kind of humming all day. This is still the first half, by the way. I don't know if you guys have picked that up. They find the end zone to make it 14 points, 42-28. 15 seconds left now. I think you know where this one is going. Lunchtime. That's all I have to say, really. But it was more so the wide receiver on the back end making the catch and embarrassing the Coastal defense to make this thing 42-35 at the end of one. Defense has showed up in the second half. That is an interception on the RPO. The worst part about it is if he just handed it off, that's probably a touchdown. That's tough, but they get the ball back. Now face a 4th and 3, and that one is thrown short of the sticks. Oh, no. You're not going to get too many chances to tie this ball game up. You just can't trust this defense, and for good reason. I mean, that's another touchdown right there for Coastal, 49-35. 4.5 minutes left roughly in the fourth quarter now. But Whitehair is going to do some dancing, and okay, it may not be over yet. We just need one stop from this defense. Just one stop, and we know Coastal is prone to blowing these games and making very poor decisions, but it doesn't, I mean, it's tough to make a bad decision when the guy is as wide open as that is, and they're going to let him score. It's not going to matter. 56-42 is your final. It was not lunchtime in Lafayette today. It was goon time. I hated that I said that, but I felt like I had to. App State taking on Georgia State, number 21 App State, may I remind you. And they're going to find the end zone right there on the RPO action. 14-7 when we see the Mountaineer offense again, and we're just rolling out of the pocket. Chambers on the run. That is a perfect throw, and he's going to outrun the Georgia State defense for the touchdown. Hey, we've seen this formation before. We love this pistol formation from App State, and we're going to score on the same play that we scored on earlier. Oh, we're doing a little showboating in the end zone. Okay, not enough to just go up by 3 scores. We got a showboat to Kanye Roberts. This guy is unreal. I'm not sure where this offense would be without him, but we don't have to know because he's been phenomenal. 55-21 is your final. App State just continues to roll. Let's take a look at our scores from the week that was week 9. Middle Tennessee State with a big win over Delaware. And unfortunately, Missouri State and UTEP, we did not get to see because the stupid Twitch 7-day thing, it screwed me again. I was doing a little traveling. I thought I had everything planned out perfectly. Turns out I was wrong, but they did get the win. Okay, Coach Wagner and the boys in Springfield are playing really well, and they're going bowling this year. I believe. If you don't believe, you can just leave because we're believers in Coach Wagner. Jacksonville State, big win over Liberty. I'm telling you, that Liberty team is stanky. but a big win nonetheless. It's nice when you don't really have to exert any effort to get a win. Same with Kennesaw State in Western Kentucky. That is a massive win for them. They go on bye next week, and then they got Middle Tennessee State. So this is the last time we'll see the Hilltoppers for this episode. And then we got to talk about the UMass game. Listen, man, when you're up 24-9 in the fourth quarter against a team that you've really shut down all game, it's tough to see a scenario in which you lose that was not your fault, right? And Coach Cause, in the post-game press conference, he was a little hostile, but he did say that it was all his fault. He took full blame, said that he didn't have his guys in a position to compete. He may or may not have killed one of them. I'm just putting it out there. There were some rumors going on that one of the players did not make it on the bus back to UMass for the flight. They're not taking a bus, but nobody knows where he is, okay? I'm just putting it out there. I thought you guys had the right to know what was going on. Coach Rizzi, big win. I mean, we're 57 points, winning by damn near 30. That's a massive win. You're going to hang that one up in your resume cap at the end of the season when you go to your athletic director and president and ask for a 5-year extension worth $50 million. And you deserve every penny of that, Coach Rizzi. I just want you to know that. We are very pleased with the progress that you are making here at the league, and we want it to be reciprocated in your pockets. I said reciprocated. So weird there. What is going on with my English today? I don't know. And then Ohio, big win over NIU. Those frauds that are moving to the Mountain West in real life. Good on you for beating them down to a pulp. 40-point win to just maintain the fact that they are the best team in the MAC conference and probably the best group of 5 team in the country. And we'll talk about the college football playoff later. Shocker, they're in prime position to be playing in the college football playoff. Nevada, big win over Hawaii after trailing in that one. We love to see it there. Utah State, 57 points on UNLV. I think these boys are going to make a bowl game this year. I really do. San Jose State losing to Colorado State. I mean, the fact that they are now 5-4 is a little cause for concern. Coach Crowley, he looks disinterested on the sideline. He doesn't look engaged. And I worry for the boys on that team and what the future holds for them. San Diego State just takes out all of their anger and frustration. Not sure how much there was or like what it was about, but Fresno State got all of it and get to walk home with a ice pack on their butt for how much of an ass whooping that was. Old Dominion, big win for them over Texas State. Listen, the defense finally came to play. That's what we wanted to see from them. For Coastal Carolina, they came, they saw, they conquered. It was, it's so dumb watching these two teams play. It really is a blessing in college football at its core to watch these two teams go back and forth for who can make the dumbest plays and still get a competitive game. And it's one that's very entertaining. I would like this to be a yearly rivalry, and I think it is as long as both teams stay, or both coaches, I should say, stay in the Sun Belt. Not foreshadowing or anything. I don't know what's happening, but there have been rumors of moves. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. App State, they're probably the second best group of 5 team. If Ohio's the first, they're the second. They prove it again with another big win over Georgia State. Speaking of App State, Tyler Chambers is your National Offensive Player of the Week. As you can see, just a fantastic stat line, 342 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, also had 9 carries for 73 yards, and 2 scores. Yeah, that's a pretty good day at the office, if I do say so for myself. In Conference USA, the Offensive Player of the Week was Cameron Flowers, 10 catches, 173 receiving yards, 17.3 per catch. Pretty impressive stuff itself, and a receiving touchdown. In the MAC, Dwayne Early Jr., 10 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Listen, man, you lost the game, but you put up some pretty good individual numbers. Depending on what kind of player you are, that may be a good thing or that may be a bad thing. I'm not really sure. Let's go to Week 10 now. We got the MAC. Speaking of Buffalo, let's just stick with Buffalo. They're taking on Eastern Michigan. This is a great chance for them to get back in the win column, get to 3 wins on the season, get to 2 wins in conference. That would be pretty cool. They're down 7-0 early, but they come right back down the field and answer to tie this thing up at 7. And maybe the defense can make a play here. I mean, oh, they do. What a pick. Let's go. Run. Show off the legs. Go. Oh, is he actually going to do it? Oh, my God. He actually is. They scored on that. Are you kidding me? Okay, so Eastern kicks a field goal. They're going to kick another field goal. Buffalo's offense has literally done nothing since that opening drive. We need them now more than ever. Please step up. Okay, they're not going to show up. Okay, defense. I need you. Dig down deep inside. And that ball is picked off. They listened. They listened to me. Listen, it was a bad throw. It was a bad throw, but you'll take it. Offense. They drove down the field, so this is at least good. Just cap it off, please. And they do. Come on. Come on, Hugh Janus. Let's go, baby. That's how you get in the end zone. That's how you win a ball game. Come on. 21-13. 3-7, Buffalo. Let's go. UMass trying to get back in the win column. They're taking on an IU team coming off of an embarrassing loss against Ohio. Both teams coming off embarrassing losses. Yeah, I mean, let's see what you got for me. Oh, my God. No way. Oh, that is a Sundays level throw. In fact, I don't know how many quarterbacks on Sunday are making that throw. That was ridiculous. And we're going to come right back down the field for another throwing touchdown. Another passing touchdown. I don't like that I called it a throwing touchdown. That was weird. I didn't like that. We're going to find the end zone again. We Chicks love the long ball. And that is a long ball. 34-3. I mean, just NIU. What are you doing? You figure it out, okay? Because that's unacceptable. Toledo and the Rocket offense. There's got to be a nickname for this kind of offense because, I mean, they're constantly, what the hell? Oh, sure. Why not? Just stunt on them. Because this kind of offense, they put up a lot of points every single week. Someone coined them a nickname. They're up 21-0 on Central Michigan in the first quarter, or Chippewas. I just feel so bad for them. They're actually 6-2, so maybe I don't feel so bad for them. And their quarterback is going to take a nice chunk, and he's going to fumble the football, and he's going to pick it up, and he's going to score a touchdown anyway. That has got to be. Can he get an assist for that? Can we do assists in football for that specific play? Okay, I mean, that can't be a real throw. That can't be a real throw. You're joking. And by the way, Jonathan Paylor scored like 100 touchdowns that game. You will see him later this episode, and we will talk more about the Heisman race, as the title and thumbnail say. But we got to talk about some conference standings. Ohio sitting at 8-1 overall, 6-0 in conference play. Toledo not far behind. With that UMass loss, they sit pretty in second place for the second spot in the MAC title game. Akron is 4th. Central is 5th. Western is 6th, and then Bowling Green. Yeah, they are in the top half. Well, not technically because there are 13 teams, but they're in the left column, and I think that is impressive enough. They are above teams like Miami, NIU, Buffalo, Kent State, Ball State, and Eastern Michigan as they round it out. But let's talk about Bowling Green and Buffalo, right? Bowling Green 3-3 in conference. We are making massive strides, and I feel really confident about their ability to potentially, maybe be a little bit higher by the end of the season. We'll see how that plays out, but I feel good about it. And Buffalo, 3-7. Normally they were at the bottom of the standings last year, so it's nice to see them not hold that 13th spot by themselves. Okay, moving on to the Sun Belt. It's number 18, Appalachian State, taking on Texas State. This Texas State team is bad, as we saw when they were playing Old Dominion. The defense is non-existent. Letting guys run wide open. That's a tight end. How are you going to let the tight end get that wide open? They're up 14-0. It's still the first quarter, by the way. This is looking like a Toledo game right now. There were like 4 different guys that he could have thrown to on that play and gotten a touchdown. I'm not sure what the Bobcats are doing. It's still the first quarter. They're dead. They're already dead. Leave them alone. 56-17. My God. Just brutal. Old Dominion, Southern Miss. This is going to be a big one. Old Dominion, if they want to stay alive in this conference title. Oh, okay. Taj Bullock with a spin move. That thing was nifty. If they want to stay alive in this conference race, they need to beat this team, and they are doing so. Good Lord, this is a bloodbath right now. Southern Miss ain't got nothing. Well, they got something, I guess. That was a busted coverage, And this guy's going to bust it all the way into the end zone and all over the ODU defense. And because the Golden Eagles get the ball right out of halftime, they have a chance to win the middle eight and make this a 7-point ball game after trailing by 21, and that's exactly what they did. Now, the Monarchs will come right back down the field and score a touchdown of their own to pull it back to 14. But the defense, I thought we had fixed this, guys. What are we doing? Why can we not tackle all of a sudden again? We're in the fourth quarter now. The offense would be fantastic if they could score a touchdown here, and they do. We're back to 14. Defense, you can make a stop here. Game can be over. We can get a good Monarchs win. We can rain on. We can do all of that good jazz and hoopla. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. There is simply no way that you are being touched like this. There's no way. Well, at least the running game is still strong. 49-35, the final. No defense to be seen. Literally no defense to be seen in that one. Just abysmal performance by both the defenses. Hey, there's a bad performance by a defense on that play right there. I'm not sure where they were going, but a little sneak out to the flat, and he's going to score easily. I don't know if you're going to find an easier touchdown than that right there. Louisiana trying to pull off the upset of the century in Dallas, and they get up 14-7 now. Defense in the first half. They're playing phenomenally. They just need to make one more stand. Ooh, we're going airborne for that one. That was pretty cool. And the Mustangs would add a field goal as we enter the fourth quarter. But the Raging Cajuns said 7 is better than 3, and SMU did actually agree with them, which is why they scored on their next drive with 2.5 minutes left. And then I think you know where this is going. 4th and 2 for Louisiana. Lunch, just for whatever reason, throwing way off of his back foot. Incomplete pass. SMU kicks a field goal, seals the deal, wins the ball game. Sometimes lunchtime does a little too much. That was one of those times. Coastal Carolina looking to take the life out of JMU and their season, and that is defense. Something we don't see from the Shots too often, especially this season. So it's nice to see a route jumped and take it back for a touchdown. A little help for the offense. Now, JMU would go back down the field and they would score a touchdown. But London Humphreys, the other guy in the Heisman race, he did a little something. That was 1 touchdown. That's 2 touchdowns. And he's wide open too. Like, let's not act like this is, they're double cover. Like, this is ridiculous. How would you let that guy get? Oh my God! You're gonna tackle him, right? Like, you're not gonna. Oh Jesus, no! Oh my God! Oh, it's a massacre. This is illegal. The Geneva Conventions literally say that you cannot do any of that. Good Lord. The Sun Belt is no longer division, so that is a key. I don't know if I've already said that, but this is important because App State going to be the number 1 team clearly in the conference at 8-1 and 5-0 in conference. Old Dominion though, 2nd place, 5-1 in conference. The Monarchs holding their own again this season. Troy in 3rd place. Coastal Carolina in 4th place, holding that 4-2 record. Southern Miss in 5th place. Georgia Southern also at 3-2 in 6th. And then Louisiana also 3-2. Somehow still in this race because they Louisiana plays Old Dominion later this season. If they're able to win that ball game based off of tiebreakers, they theoretically have a shot at the Sun Belt title. Now, they need some other things to happen, but they are not out of this race yet. And they are the 7th team right now. Everybody else likely out of it, but not necessarily. Arkansas State, South Alabama, Georgia State, Texas State, James Madison, Marshall, and ULM round us out in the Fun Belt Conference. Now we got to talk about some CUSA action. Missouri State, we're finally going to get to watch them to play, coming off the big win over UTEP, now taking on Louisiana Tech, and that defense was not very good. This defense may even be worse. 21-6 is not how you drew it up early on. Let's get the offense going. Let's try and find the end zone. Hey, you know what? It wasn't pretty. It certainly wasn't pretty, but it worked. And it got us on the board. We got the 2-point conversion. This thing is a touchdown ball game now. But the defense did the thing again where they just didn't cover anybody, and it became the easiest Bulldog touchdown you'll ever see. So Missouri State at 4-4 right now is at jeopardy of falling back under 500 and then needing 2 wins in order to reach a bowl game. It's not great. It's not where you want to be. And the offense certainly understands that, going for, the end zone right there to cut it back to 7. The defense just never got the memo, though, because they scored again, and they would score for a 6th time, because 6 times 7 is 42. And then they would score a 7th time and win 49-29. So, yeah, the defense kind of costing Missouri State a chance at a bowl game. Delaware down 14-0 to UTEP here late in the 3rd quarter, and then it's Jake Bradell. Hey, there's a guy we haven't heard in a while. It's now 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter when they're back in scoring position, and Mason Kelsey finding the end zone with his legs. And then they get the ball back again, and they're minute 21 left. They're in the red zone, and they're going to fight. Is that Jake Bradell? It's Jake Bradell! He's back, baby! Vintage performance from the should have been Mackey winner last year. Still pissed that they stole that award from him. It's ridiculous. And then the defense will allow a touchdown right before the end of the game. Yeah, not great. So I guess we get free football, but if you're Delaware coming off that loss to Middle Tennessee State, I think you'd like the win instead. Defensively, guys, what are we doing? You held them to 14 the entire game, and then you're doing all of that? We can't have that. Fortunately, they get an easy touchdown to answer, which means that we're going to go back to the Delaware offense, or stick with them, I should say. We need the 2-point conversion. That is the key here in the second overtime, the big difference between the first and the second. And Kelsey is going to finally find his open receiver. So now UTEP needs the touchdown, and they need the 2-point conversion. So let's got to check off one thing first before you can check off the second. There's a flag on the play. There's also a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone. It's going to come down to this 2-point conversion. Obviously, if UTEP gets it, we go to a 2-point off, which I'm kind of hoping for. And then they run that play. They don't get it. So Delaware's going to win 36-34. I mean, listen, you were down 14-0 late in that game. You did blow it. But listen, you got to win. We're not going to harp on the negatives. You get to win. Blue Hens back on top. Oh, Julian Duggar right before the break. Are you kidding me? That might be the best throw you've had all season long. Good Lord. Jeremiah Cobb showing off his wheels. This New Mexico State team is not very good. Middle Tennessee State is trying their best to put up some style points as well to have an outside shot at the college football playoff. That loss against Jacksonville State obviously hurt them in the country right now, so they need to win, and they still need some help. So that's why they're throwing it with a minute 15 left in the ball game. Talon Shetron, the hero in the Michigan game. I don't know if any of you remember that. It felt like so long ago, as Middle Tennessee State continues to win 42-7. Jacksonville State taking on Kennesaw State down 7-0 early. And now we're in the second half, and that is a beautiful moon ball from Jaden Davis. We've seen a lot of really nice throws today. I think the quarterback play from year 1 to year 2 has been the biggest difference in why so many teams are having more success. Could be better on defense. That is a white boy that just split the seam right there and dusted your guys. And now Kennesaw State's back in scoring position, and they just... What? Kennesaw State is up 21-14 on Jacksonville State right now. Okay, now it's tied. But what are we doing? Okay, I think Jacksonville State's Gamecocks. Gamecocks. Okay, they got the win. That's all that matters. Now we got to talk about the Conference USA standings. So this is where it gets really interesting, right? Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky play each other next week. Delaware and Jacksonville State play each other next week. Middle Tennessee already has the win over Delaware this season, so they are above them in conference standings. Jacksonville State has beaten number 2 and number 1 so far this season, so they have tiebreakers over that team. So technically speaking, if they beat Delaware next week, they are in the conference championship game if they win out. They control their own destiny at that point because they would have beaten all of the other teams that are in contention for that spot. It is wild to think about it that way, but that is how it sets up. UTEP is in the 5th spot at 5-4. I mean, none of these other teams have a shot. Louisiana Tech is 6th. Missouri State is 7th this season, 2-3 in conference. You'd like to bump that up a little bit. They've got a couple more games to do so. Then Sam Houston, New Mexico State, Liberty, FIU, and Kennesaw State rounded out the bottom of that conference. It's just so putrid. There's not much else to say about them. So now we're going to talk about the Mountain West. San Diego State is basically a lock, as long as they win this game to make the conference title game. Once you get to about 5 conference wins, the rest of the conference is kind of clumped up, and there's nobody else that is a big threat to them. And I said you got to win this game, though. San Diego's Coach Booth, did you hear me? You have to win this game. I'm not going to sit here and talk about, the likelihood that you're going to make the conference title game if you're not going to win this one. Okay, we find the end zone before the break. I mean, that's a good step in the right direction. We're up 21-13 now. We will always take that. And we're going to start the ball in the second half. And I'm not sure exactly what New Mexico's plan was there, but you will 1,000% take that. That is a nice middle 8 right there. And it's not over yet either, because San Diego State gets to stop. They get the ball right back, and we're just going to show off the arm again. Good Lord, Malachi Nelson has been playing out of his gourd. Yeah, so San Diego State, they control their own destiny for the Mountain West title game. Nevada and Fresno State, listen, we talked about it already. Coach Schonenberger Jr. is the most likely coach in America to be fired. And Coach Hey, Would You Blow Me is basically going to nail the final coffin in his death sentence. Like, he is almost assuredly going to get fired after his performance in this one. Because I'm not gonna act like this was close. I'm not gonna act like Fresno State actually had a chance of winning this ball game, because that would be disingenuous. This was a beatdown from start to finish in a game that Nevada comfortably led the entire time and ended up pouring it on a little bit late. But this was not even a contest. Nevada, you can see right there, they won 59-14. And Would You Blow Me's boys are going bowling pretty soon. They just got to win one more game, and then they're in territory that they haven't been before. Utah State and Hawaii in a just deadlocked fight right here in the fourth quarter. That was a big play to Corey Thompson Jr. The Aggies trying to get to 500, get back to it. They need to go to a bowl, man. The defense, step up and make a play, please. Come on. Just do something for me. Bert Emanuel Jr. Oh, show off the arm, big man. That is how it's done. Okay, so what are we doing in the red zone? There was not enough time left for them to get to this point. What was the defense cooking? Oh my God. As a Coach Eric Taylor fan, this is hard to watch. This game should not be in overtime. The defense just let them down, but the offense coming back to play in overtime. Please, defense, just do your job one time. Oh my God. How can you be an Aggie fan? Legitimately, how can you be a Utah State fan with this defense? It kills me every time I have to watch this team play. Every time. They get to stop there on 3rd and 14. Okay, so they're going to force a field goal, and then all Utah State has to do is score a touchdown to win the game. That's awesome. Did he just miss that? Oh my God. This is a gift from the gods. This is gift wrapped win for Utah State. If they somehow miss this, I'm going to lose it. No, it's the easiest kick ever. Let's go, Aggies. One win away from the Idaho Potato Bowl. This was meant to be. San Jose State, out of conference, going to Death Valley to take on LSU. This is a tough matchup in the middle of conference play to have to go across the country and take on a team that is vastly superior to you on the talent side, on paper. And you saw it from the opening kickoff. This was a massacre. And I feel like I've said massacre a little too many times so far this episode, but this was actually one. This would be illegal in probably every country besides North Korea. Down 28-0 in the first half. This is an untimed down because of a pass interference there right before the break. They would find the end zone, the Spartans would, but the defense just didn't really want to play much in the second half, and that touchdown didn't really do anything, because on their first drive, the Tigers they ran a verticals concept and outran everybody on the Spartan defense. Now, the Spartans would come back down the field and find the end, but you can see final score 80-21. Yikes. So the Mountain West standings, and this is where things get really, really interesting. So San Diego State undefeated in conference play so far this season, basically in the driver's seat. There is not much, especially with the win over New Mexico, there's not much they can do to jeopardize their position in this title game, besides losing out. Obviously, that would hurt them. But New Mexico, San Jose State, Nevada, Utah State, and UNLV all have a legitimate shot at the title game at that second spot. Fortunately for the Spartans, they have head-to-head wins over a lot of these teams. Besides UNLV, that's the only team that could screw them over. So they're in a pretty good spot. Nevada keeps on winning. They could make things interesting. Same with Utah State. Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State, Air Force, Hawaii, Wyoming are all pretty much out of it. Colorado State could make some noise, but likely not. And then Fresno State with the 1 win so far all season long. Like, I just don't know what else you want me to say. They are not a good football team. They're not well coached. And Coach Sonnenberger Jr.'s life and days, not life, his days as the head coach of the program are numbered. Okay, now we're done talking about that, so let's talk about the scoreboard recap. Just talk about some of the games that were this past week 10 in the league. So, Coastal Carolina gets a big win over JMU and maintains an outside shot at a conference title game appearance and likely loss. Now, he has to beat his boogeyman. Coach Goon has to beat Coach Roth in order to get there. I do not see that happening. In fact, I don't think anybody in America sees that happening. And it's why I don't think anybody is thinking and taking Coastal Carolina seriously. ODU also has to play Coach Roth, but because they haven't lost some just mind-boggling games like the Troy game, they're in a much better spot to control their own destiny than Coastal. So that big win over Southern Miss, who is another team in that range, was massive for the ability to be able to say that. App State, obviously, they're in the conference title game. Even a finish that would see them losing their last couple of games, I don't think would be enough to knock them out. I think they're pretty much cemented in there. Louisiana, tough loss at SMU, but this team showed a lot of fight and really showed a lot of improvement. And I think Coach Hingham Kringleberry is really showing that he is the right man for the job there in Lafayette. In the Mountain West, Utah State, big win over Hawaii. I mean, this team feels so close to a bowl game berth. Like, I can feel it. It's right there. They just got to go out and take advantage of it. San Jose State quit in the second half. I mean, it was so apparent that they just did not care anymore, allowing 80 points to an LSU team that, yes, they were 6-2, but I mean, let's be honest, like they weren't great, right? They're not this like world-beating team. They're not in the top 25, so they definitely shouldn't have allowed 80 points. San Diego State, big win over New Mexico. Those were the top 2 teams, both undefeated in conference going into that game. And it didn't really feel like it on the field. It felt like San Diego State was an entire head and shoulders above New Mexico in their place too. Like, just complete dominance. Nevada, like I said, nail in the coffin of Sonnenberger's future. We'll see where he's coaching next year. Toledo, big win over Central Michigan, just continuing to pour it on offensively. Jonathan Paylor, big game on the offensive side of the ball yet again. UMass needed the bounce back victory, got the bounce back victory, put themselves, at least if Toledo were to slip up, at least within striking distance of a MAC title appearance. And then Buffalo, just one of the most impressive big time wins that you will ever see. That was phenomenal. Super impressed by Coach Janus and the boys for getting it done. Out in Conference USA, Middle Tennessee State with a big win over New Mexico State, 42-7. Delaware survives a scare against UTEP, continuing to do this thing where they have to play a close game every single time. Missouri State trying to make it a couple wins in a row, wasn't able to do so. Louisiana Tech had their number in this one. A little bit of a underwhelming performance from the Bears in that. And then Jacksonville State themselves surviving a scare against Kennesaw State. That loss would have knocked them completely out of Conference USA contention for the championship game, yet they're able to win. Just do as much as they needed to do to get to W, and they're sitting pretty now. As for players of the week, I told you we would get to Jonathan Paylor. 15 catches, 223 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, and he may have had a kick return in this game too. I do go through their game log a little bit, so we'll see that in a second. But yeah, just unreal performance from him. The MAC Defensive Player of the Week, because obviously Paylor is going to be the offensive player, was Red Murdoch in their win over Eastern Michigan. 12 tackles, 4 of them for loss, and a pick 6. Like, just, I mean, genuinely tide-turning point in that game. Got them the victory. Just massive, massive performance from him. In the Mountain West, Pierce Clarkson. I mean, we saw some of the throws he was making in game 1 and game 2. I mean, he was phenomenal. 27 of 30, 418 passing yards, 14 per attempt, and then 8 passing touchdowns. Again, that Fresno State team, I don't know what is going on with them, but it feels like they never practice football. Just ridiculous stuff. And then in the Sun Belt, London Humphreys, 14 catches, 226 yards, 16.1 per, and 5 receiving touchdowns. That race between Paylor and Humphreys is insane. Not to overshadow Cameron Williams, 8 tackles, a sack, 4 TFLs, and a pick 6. So now we're going to talk about the Heisman Trophy race, because I have never seen a battle so contested in my life before. As you can see, Jonathan Paylor overtook London Humphreys with his Week 10 performance. So this was Week 11 that you're looking at right now. London Humphreys, going into Week 10, was the number 1 player on the Heisman power rankings. Paylor overtook him with his performance. Here, we're going to look at some of his game logs. You can see multiple games of 200 yards. Obviously, this is his best game of the season so far, but phenomenal offensive player. That is not to mention his ability in the kick return game as well. As you can see right here, he's averaging 33 yards per return, 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns in the kick return game. 1,300 yards. As you can see, based off of his game log, he is making an impact every single game in the kick return game. London Humphreys is not, and that is where Paylor has the leg up in the race right now. We'll take a look at Humphreys' stats in a second, but Paylor's ability to do it in 2 phases of the game is really what's making him that number 1 option right now. Because as you can see with London Humphreys, 99 catches, 23 receiving touchdowns, 1,858 receiving yards. This guy is going to break the single season receiving record without playing in a conference championship game, and probably before the bowl game as well. And it didn't happen by accident, right? He's had a couple of down games, but you're looking at consistently over 100 yards. You see 5 200-yard receiving games on his game log. He got close to a 300-yard receiving game. And then this past week, 5 receiving touchdowns. He's also had a 4, and he's had 2 games of 3. This guy is ridiculous, and we are being treated to simply the best Heisman race of all time. As the kids would say, this is cinema. Okay, now it's time to talk about the college football playoff, because something interesting happened during the week. We now have 2 league teams in the college football playoff if it were to start today. Ohio would be the number 11 seed. Appalachian State would be number 12. Why is this? Well, if you look, there is not a single Big 12 team in the college football playoff. So that means that they would get 2 of the 5 auto bids, neither being at-large spots. So it's going to be key to keep an eye on where the Big 12 finishes this year, because it opens the door for the Conference USA as well, and potentially the Mountain West Conference if San Diego State continues to win out. This is where things get really, really interesting, because it's also a possibility that we get at-large teams in here as well. It just is so important what happens in the Big 12. That's going to be the key. But this is where the college football playoff is at right now. I believe Toledo is 17th. Middle Tennessee State is 18th or 19th. Jacksonville State is 23rd right now, and San Diego State is on the outside looking in, but so close. So that is realistically 5 or 6 teams that have a shot at the college football playoff, and a lot of those guys are going to be playing in conference title week as well. So just massive implications, and we got to keep our eye on those games. That'll do it for episode 5 of season 2. This was such a fun episode, in my opinion. The Heisman race, the conference title races, the fact that we actually are going to have college football playoff teams just made for such a good episode. And the rest of the season is only going to get better. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.